Jordan Sheridan, live from my parents' kitchen, where this great ride of Status Coup began. I have been very busy today. Let me know if you could hear me well. Let me know if you could see me. We're very big on production quality here at Status Coup. So obviously, I've cleaned the kitchen up a little bit today to bring you the best production possible. My shoulder's blocking it. We have a crock pot going for dinner tonight here at the Sheridan household.
And Jordan did none of those things.
Yes, that's true. And Jen's going to be joining us in a little bit. Let me make sure I have the clip that I need to find. Hold on. Farewell. I've come to see you go. Okay, folks, we got 136 people watching right now. Only 57 likes. Smash the like button. You know what to do. You have a checklist. Smash that like button. Smash it like it's Kamala Harris telling you she's for Medicare for all, and then within 24 hours telling you Medicare for who?
We can't
for who?
say we're going to smash
for who? Oh, that's true. We can't say that. So smash it like it's something not what I said. Smash it like it's Dick Cheney interrupting your Thanksgiving dinner. Smash it like it's Nancy Pelosi telling you to eat your broccolis. Smash it like it's Howard Schultz being a CRAPP-uccino. Just smash the like button, folks. Smash it into smithereens. This is how we get more viewers, because YouTube certainly isn't letting people know we're even live. You can become a member at statuscoup.com/join. We are really pushing membership. Why are we pushing membership, Jen?
Because...
Speak loud.
I can't even tell what's happening. We're pushing membership because that's how we're going to sustain our news organization.
So, do you want to speak like you're writing a book report? Or do you want to speak passionately why people should join?
Guys, I'm about to grab this whole computer and say a lot of things about this nice person here.
We'll talk about membership in a little bit. But remember, you can become a member as low as $5 a month. Membership is how we grow. Membership is how we get in the field, cover the important stories no one else is going to cover. Follow us at Status Coup on the Twitter. And I'm at Jordan Sheridan. And I don't know what you're at. What are you at?
Jenna's about to strangle Jordan.
What's your Twitter?
Jen Elizabeth J.
Jen Elizabeth J. There you go. Subscribe to our podcast, bit.ly/Status Coup podcast, and join our email list. Hey, I bought an annual membership today. H-Town dude, I saw that you bought an annual membership today.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Coup de Cavalry. The Coup de Cavalry. And Cavalry. And, okay, don't front seat drive me. And join our email list, statuscoup.com/join. And since you brought it up, H-Town, you can become a member of Status Coup as low as $5 a month. You'll be a status slayer. If you become a coup de champion at $10 a month, you can become a coup de commander at $20 a month and a part of the coup de cavalry at $147 annually. And by the way, we've been uploading new content for our members multiple times a week. I just uploaded a video today. So make sure you're going to, if you're a member, make sure you're going to statuscoup.com. Check out our behind the scenes videos. Today, you get a wonderful video of me explaining how Jen and I are working on a budget. So you get to see the riveting behind the scenes of our budgeting for the 2020 campaign. Budgeting. It's like, you remember that book, The Secret? You remember that book, The Secret? It's like if you imagine it in your mind hard enough, it will come. So that's kind of what we're doing. We're just imagining we have the money. So, what did this person say? Angie Grace, when I get Kamala's $500 a month, I'm going to spend it on Status Coup. Hey, I think that's an economic stimulus plan that I could back up.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, we got to get you.
Why does it say don't touch Jordan's drum set?
We got to get you in the frame. Oh, are you in the frame?
No.
Scoot in. So, Ty Bayless, one second. Yeah.
Well, there's half of my face.
You're good now. Ty Bayless, was telling me, Jordan, stop attacking Kamala Harris. You're being unfair. to Kamala Harris. She said she was for Medicare for all in the town hall. Why isn't that good enough for you, Jordan? And I said to Ty, I don't care. I don't care what they say. I care what is their record, who are they taking money from, and all these things. So I said to myself, is this a radical position, folks? I said, well, if Kamala Harris is so passionate, what did she say in the debate? She said, I feel really strongly about this. What are you doing?
Just keep going.
Oh, I feel really strongly about this. We need Medicare for all. Well, if she's that strong about it, why is it that when she was running for the California Senate in 2016, there was a bill in the California legislature for single payer? And I spoke with multiple people in California. I'm not going to name all of them, but one is a politician in California I spoke with, and he said, Kamala Harris said, crickets.
Hi, Julie.
Crickets, she said, as a candidate about universal health care bill in California. So if you feel strongly about it, why is it that you didn't push for it when you were running for Senate? And granted, she was running for national Senate, not California Senate, but you're running to represent California. Why would you not chime in on your state becoming the first in the country to have a state-level universal health care? Jerry Ross, my favorite troll. You always talk to yourself, Jordan. Jerry, I'd rather talk to myself than my oil executive boss's pal. Jerry Ross, working for Dakota Access Pipeline, but never admitting it. By the way, this is a super chat as a reminder, and we are at, where are we at? We're at $40,887. I think Jerry Ross should pay the difference to get us to 41,000, but I'd love to get to 41,000 maybe in the next 10 minutes if there's a great humanitarian out there. And our goal for the end of this month, we're pretty far from it, is 45,000. So we're probably going to miss that unless there's an amazing humanitarian, authentic, aggressive,
you never know.
progressive.
Don't predict that you'll miss it.
Well, I'm saying we're probably, unless...
You don't...
Okay. So if you're living under a rock, let me replay what Kamala Harris said in CNN's Love Fest for her, because that's what it was. It was a pathetic display, if you ask me. Here's Kamala Harris on Medicare for All, Monday night.
I believe it will totally eliminate private insurance. So for people out there who like their insurance, they don't get to keep it?
Well, listen, the idea is that everyone gets access to medical care, and you don't have to go through the process of going through an insurance company, having them give you approval, going through the paperwork, all of the delay that may require. Who of us has not had that situation where you got to wait for approval and the doctor says, well, I don't know if your insurance company is going to cover this? Let's eliminate all of that. Let's move on.
Wow. Let's move on. Move on, she says. Kamala Harris to Jake Tapper, let's just move on. You know, it's like Hillary telling Wall Street, cut it out. Cut it out. So when you hear Kamala Harris in a debate saying, you know what, let's just get rid of it. Let's just get rid of it. You know what I mean? What did you say? Wow, you know, maybe she's coming around here. Who needs Bernie when you got Kamala? What were you thinking?
Well, she definitely was trying to reach the Bernie people. That's why she said it in the first place. So it sounded good. But of course, she immediately started walking it back.
Well, don't spoil the story.
That's not spoiling. They've already been talking about it. These are smart people we have.
But you know what's interesting? I feel like, you know, and I've been called a racist, I've been called a sexist, and all these things. Some woman reported me on Twitter. Apparently it's harassment to tweet Neeraj Tanden is crying tears of joy somewhere. So I'm having too much fun with this. But, you know, I'm pretty sure that the conversation Kamala Harris had with Hillary Clinton's donors in the Hamptons in summer of 2017. So she basically became a California senator. And then within 6 months, she was already hobnobbing in the Hamptons. Right. You don't go to the Hamptons, you know, to feed the homeless. You know, the Hamptons is where the bougie people, the people with money go. I doubt, do you think the conversation went like, guys, we got to get rid of it. We got to get rid of private health insurance. We got to give to the worker bees, the proletariat. Do you think that's what she was talking about with a Citigroup executive in the Hamptons that she was with, or Hillary Clinton's top donors?
Absolutely not. That was a very different conversation.
So I got to tell you something. I hate to defend, and I hate to give a compliment to Mitt Romney, but Kamala Harris flip-flopping on Medicare for all in less than 24 hours, she is now the new queen of the flip-floppery. She makes Mitt Romney look consistent. Kamala Harris.
She walked it back so fast.
Okay, let's see.
Insane.
Let's read you the story at CNN. Oh boy, Kamala Harris is open to multiple paths for Medicare for all, and this was, I think, like 6 or 7 o'clock Eastern last night. So literally less than a day after she said this. Quote, by stating she would eliminate private insurers as a necessary part of implementing Medicare for all, California Senator Kamala Harris, during a CNN town hall Monday night, sent a shockwave through the national healthcare debate. Harris's comments underscore the extent to which a move to single payer would radically overhaul the current system, and, in frankly addressing one of the transition's most politically difficult steps, step directly into her critics' crosshairs. You see, unfortunately, CNN, I wish I could edit this in real time. It's not into her critics' crosshairs. It's into her donors' crosshairs, because that's what this is really about.
Yeah.
Republicans attacked Harris within minutes of her remarks, tweeting that she, quote, says she wants to eliminate private insurance even if you like your plan. Oh, if you like your plan. By Tuesday morning, former Starbucks boss Howard Schultz, that new CRAPP-uccino, was piling on, and fellow billionaire potential presidential candidate Michael Bloomberg,
God, what is wrong with
the former mayor of New York, was dismissing the entire plan as a fiscally ruinous pipe dream. Well, Michael Bloomberg would know a lot about fiscally ruinous. Go ask black people living in New York City under his mayorship how he did for them. As the furor grew, a Harris advisor on Tuesday signaled that the candidate would also be open to the more moderate health reform plans, which would preserve the industry being floated by other congressional Democrats. It represents a compromise position that risks angering those Medicare for all proponents who view eliminating private health insurance as a key to enacting their comprehensive reform. Both the advisor and Harris National Press Secretary Ian Sams said her willingness to consider alternate routes to a single-payer system should not cast doubt on her commitment to the policy. Quote, Medicare for All is the plan that she believes it will solve the problem and get all Americans covered, period, he told CNN. She has co-sponsored other pieces of legislation that she sees as a path to getting us there, but this is the plan she is running on. And I really think he just did a Freudian slip. This is the plan she's running on. Just like Barack Obama ran on a universal health care plan. Just like Barack Obama ran on ending the war in Afghanistan. Just like Donald Trump ran on, we need to cover everybody. Let me explain what really happened here. And I'd love your thoughts, Jen. So, Kamala Harris, this is often what politicians do. Kamala Harris, because CNN gave her a free 1-hour infomercial. Yeah. Kamala Harris was looking for a wonderful, wonderful series of sound bites. Will help her get up in the polls. Next polls, she'll probably be 1 or 2 in prospective presidential candidates on the Democratic side. So she said, let's just get rid of it. Wonderful soundbite. It's on a loop all day, the next day on CNN, MSNBC, this and that. So she got what she didn't pay for because she gets free 1 hour of basically, it's like them giving Trump billions of dollars. This is the beginning of that because they're going to give Kamala Harris a lot of free coverage, which you're never going to get from Bernie Sanders, Tulsi Gabbard, or anyone progressive. But when she said that, the donors wanted to make super sure, oh, you're not, like, serious. You know, we get it. Like, you got to, like, you know, throw crumbs and everything to get elected, but you're not, like, serious about it. Right. So, my assumption, don't have any inside sources, is Kamala Harris and her team, which, by the way, not only did she meet with Hillary Clinton's top donors 6 months after becoming a senator in the Hamptons, but she hired a lot of Hillary Clinton's staff to her team. She also hired the deputy communications director from the Democratic National Committee. What is that? What is her name? I'm losing sight. Forget her. Let me see if I could find. Doesn't matter. She also hired the deputy communications director from the DNC, who was complicit in the DNC's 2016 rigging of the primary against Bernie Sanders. So all of a sudden, I'm assuming she got a lot of calls from some donors. She gets calls from Wall Street. And then all of a sudden, her campaign, wants to put out the internal plutocrat crisis, telling CNN, well, she's open to other things. Your thoughts?
I think it was going to be obvious that she was going to be open to other things. And I have to say, I think she probably said the Medicare for All thing and getting rid of private insurance because she knew that would make a splash, and she knew that would get the attention of the Bernie folk. And if she wants to win, she has to get the Bernie folk. But we're a smart crew, and I think we see through her, especially since she immediately flip-flopped. She has no clue. She's just the next cool DNC person who's going to run.
So what I find so interesting about this is then you have an army of more establishment people coming out defending her in her flip-floppery. Because that's what this is. This is flip-flop 101. And folks, we got 350 people watching, only 140 likes. So if we get that up to 340 likes, we could get this audience above 400, maybe to 500. Smash the like button.
Yeah, guys, the more you like the video while we're live, the more people see it.
So that's how we get around YouTube's fuckery. And I just cursed. I'm demonetized. Let us know how you feel in the super chat or the GoFundMe. Here's the link. So what's so interesting about this is you have folks like Chris Murphy, the senator from Connecticut.
Yay, thank you, Corey.
He's coming out. He's coming out defending Kamala's honor. So guess what? Senators can support more than one way to achieve universal health care. I introduced a Medicare buy-in bill, but I co-sponsored the Brian Schatz Medicaid buy-in bill. Kamala Harris supported my bill, but she also co-sponsored Medicare for All. It's all cool, friends. Mr. Murphy, I like you on some things. You've been strong on gun control. You've been strong on trying to end U.S. involvement in Yemen. But you're talking about, theoretically, a senator could put his or her name on many different bills.
Right.
But you're running for president. So this isn't like a buffet table where, I like a little bit of the salmon. I like a little bit of the steak. Can I get some quinoa over there? Can I get a little tiramisu? Maybe some dumplings? Oh, I'm just talking about what I like at a buffet table. You're running for president.
Really,
you're running for president. So, see, they're saying, speak up, Jen.
Me?
You're not loud enough. Right.
Oh.
So, Jen,
I'll
use your
speak
radio
up.
voice. Right. So
I can't because he's commandeering.
Kamala Harris, and this notion that, she's running and she's for Medicare for All, but she's not an extremist, so she's open to other things. I mean, honestly, and by the way, just to be clear, because I know I'm going to be attacked for saying this has nothing to do with a racial thing, but it very much reminds me of the way Barack Obama governed. Because Barack Obama, one of the main problems with him, besides taking gobbles and gobbles of money from Wall Street, Barack Obama, whenever he would propose something, he didn't negotiate. He just came out and basically gave the other side 3/4 of what they wanted right out of the bat. And it seems to me, Kamala Harris, in saying this, besides trying to soothe Wall Street and soothe the donors who are freaking out that she said, I'm just going to get rid of private health insurance. Besides, that's why she came out and her campaign came out trying to basically tell CNN, theoretically, we want this Medicare for All thing, but we're open to other things. It's basically trying to have your cake and eat it too. She wants to get the soundbite and seem progressive, but on the other end...
And then get the other soundbite.
Wink, wink, Wall Street. Wink, wink, Citigroup. Am I wrong?
You're right.
Say that louder.
You're right, Jordan.
There we go. And I'd like to know what you think, because all this talk, we heard during the debate about... mansplaining and how great it is for a minority woman to run, which I agree with. I don't agree with her politically, but I'm for her running if she wants to. But to me, this kind of seems like very not really a strong position that she's taking here. You either see that the private health insurance industry is a major reason why we have a healthcare crisis in this country, and realize, no, like, it's Medicare for all or not. I mean, especially if you're running for president, you don't come out, preemptively and be like, but I'll accept other things first.
Right.
What do you think as far as the way her presentation is? Am I off that it's just pure bullshit and corruption, or am I missing something?
No, you're completely right. She came out and she said, Medicare for all, and then she immediately walked it back. That's all there is to say. I mean, there's no way to excuse that. It's what she did.
And Vladimir Lenin says, status quo is the absolute crap. Hate this. Do some actual research.
Vladimir.
What am I missing? In a video on Monday, she said, I want to end private health insurance. In a story on Tuesday, her campaign said, but she's open to keeping the private health insurance industry.
Artificial amorphous man, I'm sorry I look like your ex.
Always a problem. So I don't know what we're not researching. The other thing is, if you actually follow what Bernie Sanders has said, Bernie Sanders cannot, or nobody can actually end private health insurance. So it's like college universities with public college being free. If a Bernie Sanders plan went through, it's not like Yale would not exist. It's not like private universities would not exist. So there would be still private doctors available, or, specialists that are not part of the Medicare for All plan, that if you have the means, the money, you could go to. And Bernie Sanders has always said that. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, with overall, it's not really getting rid of private health insurance. It is largely diminishing the private health insurance industry.
Vladimir, I have no patience for you.
I don't know what he's saying.
So watch it.
It's not really totally getting rid of the private health insurance industry, because a politician doesn't have complete power over that. There can still be specialist doctors, renowned, facial doctors or cancer doctors or whatever.
Rich people can have their own private doctors if they really, really want.
Right. So it's interesting to me that so quickly, she's coming out, and it moonwalking, and it kind of is is a pattern with her, where one minute she's coming out more progressive, and then the other minute she's saying, well, we can't be purists here. See, Jamie says, exactly, Jordan. They still have insurance companies in Canada. They just sell different stuff. My wife is from Canada. Exactly. There's other countries with universal health care that have private doctors that are not part of the government system. So that's not totally it's not totally going to get rid of private health insurance, but we have to fully and transformatively diminish the private health insurance industry. And frankly, it's less so than the private health insurance industry as it is the pharmaceutical companies. The pharmaceutical companies are the most powerful part of the private health insurance industry. And whoever asked, am I going to try to get Tulsi Gabbard on the show? Absolutely. I've already reached out. I haven't had a response, but I've already reached out. So yes, I've reached out to Tulsi Gabbard. I've reached out to Jill Stein. I've reached out to Elizabeth Warren. I've reached out to Bernie Sanders 25,000 times. Mm-hmm. I've reached out to Abby Martin. I've reached out to Chris Hedges and a few other people. So we're reaching out to a lot of people. So here's my thing. You know what, Kamala Harris? I will respect you more if you just run as an establishment centrist. Be who you are. Don't pretend to be something you're not. This was the real problem I had. Well, in addition to the warmongering.
Thank you, Rob.
What?
Oh,
this is the real problem I had with Hillary Clinton. I would love to get on Joe Rogan. Let's make that happen. This is the real problem that I had with Hillary Clinton, besides the warmongering and the corruption. Like, don't try to pretend to be a progressive.
Right.
We can see through you. If you run saying, listen, I think Wall Street has a place in the economy. We need to have tighter regulation, but I don't think we should dismantle Wall Street. I don't agree with you, but at least you're being honest, and you can live or die based on your policies. Same thing with Joe Biden. Joe Biden doesn't believe in progressive anything based on his record and his donors, but he's trying to be, I'm middle-class Joe. No, you're not. So run on what you actually believe. Same thing with Kamala Harris. Maybe Kamala Harris, in her heart, is a quote-unquote centrist, moderate, pragmatic person. And why pretend, jumping on the Medicare for All bandwagon and all these things? I think, especially with the increase and the explosion of millennials, and frankly, the rebirth of that the older progressive generation that kind of gave up on politics but has come back. Mm-hmm. The key is people could see through this. They saw through Hillary Clinton. They see through Donald Trump, not his supporters, but the progressive side. And I think that she's thinking she could straddle both lines of faking being a progressive while also soothing the donors.
Yeah, I think people are still running, not just her, other people are running based on that as well. People like Bernie are running for the people. Others are running for the donors.
Mega Collector 04, I am a staffer for Tulsi. I am here listening. Well, if you're a staffer for Tulsi, let her know. I'd love to interview her here at Status Quo. I interviewed her at Standing Rock when I was at the Young Turks. I am very fond of her. There's some things that I said were a little concerning in her previous record that I'd like to ask her about, but I certainly could tell you she's going to have a lot better of an interview with me than she is Jake Tapper, because I actually do some research and I'm fair. So, and our audience is growing. So if she wants to reach the progressive audience, I would say Status Quo is one of the first stops I would make.
Bernie did not sell out.
No.
Watch your mouth, sir.
That's right. Did I miss anything to the Tulsi Gabbard staffer watching on why she should come to Status Quo?
Tulsi Gabbard staffer, email us.
Email. And by the way, to Tulsi Gabbard staffer, if she says yes, I will get out of my parents' kitchen and do it from our studios in New York City, aka my apartment, which is a little flashier than this. But yeah, I would love to interview Tulsi. She knows who I am. And Tulsi, shout out.
Well, he says if you would know who he is.
If I agree, Jordan, if I told you who I was, you would know me. I think I know who you are, Mega Collector. But Tulsi, she deserves a shout out. She was one of only 2 American politicians that called for an investigation after our Flint story.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
So she was the only, other than Ro Khanna, the only politician that went on the record based on what we found, which was essentially the state of Michigan cooked the lead data in Flint and artificially lowered the lead data to make it seem like, oh, the water's fine. And Tulsi was on that from the beginning saying, this is very, very alarming what Status Quo found, and there needs to be an investigation. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to get certain people, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Elijah Cummings, Rashida Tlaib. I could go on. I don't know why, but it's a little concerning that leading progressives in Congress are not doing the right thing on that respect. So the last thing I'll say about Kamala Harris, listen. It's quite obvious what we're dealing with here. CNN, short of Joe Biden entering the race, CNN has formally announced this is our candidate.
Yeah.
I mean, they gave her a 1-hour infomercial. I honestly, I don't really expect much from CNN, but it was actually worse than I even expected. How you have Kamala Harris on your air for 1 hour, and Jake Tapper, who's largely just a mannequin, he just stands there. Jake Tapper doesn't ask her, hey, when you were Attorney General of California, your own prosecutors recommended to you to prosecute Steve Mnuchin for various violations of foreclosure law. Did you miss that day? Were you not in that meeting? Right. Why didn't you prosecute Steve Mnuchin? Why is Steve Mnuchin, you're the only Democrat he donated to? I think that demands a question and an answer. And frankly, I guess she has an answer ready for when real journalists are going to ask, but that wasn't asked. And there was very little pushback on, she doesn't offer many specifics. She talks the good game about Medicare for all, a Green New Deal, but as I showed yesterday, she says she's for a Green New Deal. She's not for a ban on fracking. And her super PAC was donating $10,000 to pop to Joe Manchin and Heidi Heitkamp. Well, they're not exactly friends of the planet. So she's got some things to answer for. In fairness to her, not just her, Cory Booker, who's going to announce, has a lot to answer for. He's suddenly for a Green New Deal. Well, his donor sheet wouldn't agree with that. Same thing with Kirsten Gillibrand. So we will see. Isaac, so no, you didn't answer. What was the question? Kamala is a bigger problem than Trump? I wouldn't go that far. I think Trump's a pretty big problem. Kamala Harris isn't behind her own campaign. Someone from the elite approached her. It's possible. Mega, I don't believe in TYT anymore, Jordan. They seem hung up on Kamala for some reason. What do you think? Mega, I'm not going to get into my old stomping grounds. I have a lot of opinions, but I'll leave it to myself what I think. But that doesn't surprise me if they're cheerleading for Kamala now. They're not always big on research, I would say.
Not talking about TYT specifically, but in any case where you want to know something, think about where the money has come from.
What are you talking about, Jen? I
don't know. Just offering that general advice.
I don't know what you're talking about. She said it, not me. So, what's the last thing I'll say about Kamala Harris is this. You know, when you see not just other politicians, so it wasn't just Senator Chris Murphy coming to her defense, but when you see other politicians, now you have Ted Lieu endorsing her, you have a lot of congressional people talking like they're going to endorse her, and then literally CNN on Kamala Harris's staff's request edited the story to basically water it down and make it seem like she didn't change her position on Medicare for All, when in fact she did. Medicare for All is a specific thing. It widely diminishes the power of the private health insurance industry. It doesn't 100% eliminate the private health insurance industry, but it does definitely diminish the private health insurance industry. Mm-hmm. So how do you in less than 24 hours say, oh, but I'm open to it? Because I would like to see her Verizon phone records, assuming that's her carrier.
I want to see where the money's coming from.
Because my guess is...
Thank you, William.
She got a couple phone calls. That's my guess. Whoa! We just hit $41,000 on the GoFundMe. Ken doing it again for us. $41,000 on the GoFundMe. Our goal. Thank you, Ken. By the way, Ken, you are on the list to send out swag to. We're just waiting for the hats. We have the shirts, but we're waiting for the hats. And by the way,
I got a shipping notification. So
for all 443 of you watching, as a reminder, you donate $100 to Status Quo's GoFundMe, you get a Status Quo hat or a Status Quo shirt. 127 get you both. You are going to get a swag bag, that white swag bag at $200, and $250 gets you that backpack.
We definitely need to order more, though.
We definitely need to order more. We've been a little derelict on sending these swag out. Who's to blame for that?
Me.
Could you say that a little louder?
I will. Put me back on.
Okay.
It is my fault. I've been in and out of the hospital.
No, you can't do that now.
Yes, I can.
Oh, now you're going to make me look like I'm attacking you for being in the hospital.
I've been in the hospital, so it's my fault. But everything will come.
Yes, we are going to send you your swag. And I actually, for the campaign, I kind of want to get some Status Quo Eskimo gear. Tell you the truth.
What does that mean? Just cold weather?
There's a polar vortex going on. I have nothing. Anyway, so that's the deal with Kamala Harris. Before I move on to the next topic.
I will, Victoria.
What a dick, Jordan. She was like, excuse me, fat boy, 78.
No. Jordan has been the perfect helper. I don't know what to call you. He's driven me to my appointments. I'm staying at his parents' house for the last 100 years. Everything's good. Jordan's been a wonderful friend.
Yes. So take that back, pal. So it is super cold. And by the way, the United Corporations of America, 15 people just died in Chicago. 15 people without housing died in Chicago because of the polar vortex. So maybe Howard Schultz can comment on that. So lay off her, Jordan, huh? I'm being good. Excuse me. Do I not go get you coffee, iced tea, food, drive you to and from your appointments?
He brought me back a burrito a little bit ago, and I'm obsessed with burritos. So everything's good.
Yeah. Jordan needs Jen. He has to be nice
That's
to
her.
True. True. Okay, so before I move on, for the 410 people watching, real quick, as a reminder, Status Quo is trying to grow our funding and grow our army so we can hit the campaign trail. Ty hopefully will be ready. He's nursing his neck. I just had a conversation with him a little while ago. He's not feeling great, but whether he cannot be stopped. Get Jordan's dad on the show. That's a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
Ty cannot be stopped. I cannot be stopped. Jen cannot be stopped. Do you have a website? Robin Morgan, you're damn right we do. That's what I'm about to tell you. So, if you want to become a member...
No, Edward, don't use that word.
Don't use that word, Edward, whatever it was. If you want to support Status Coup in a recurring way, I'm not talking just sharing our content. I'm talking about being part of the Status Coup. I don't want to say army because that's what TYT says.
No, yeah, we're not army.
We want people to be part of the media revolution. So statuscoup.com/join. Statuscoup.com/join. You can become a status slayer. A status slayer as low as $5 a month. You get behind-the-scenes videos. You get a monthly members newsletter. $10 a month. You become a coup de champion. As a reminder, we are having our Zoom call tomorrow night for coup de champions at the $10 level, as well as patrons at the $10 level. Here is the graphic for that. Oh, fuck, it's gone. Excuse me. Anyway, but you'll get an email link. You'll get an email link or something in your email with an invite to our Zoom call tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, for the Coup de Champion level. And what that is a video call. So it's not a YouTube live stream. It's through Zoom. I'm on camera. You're on camera. And what does Jen tell me? It's TMI Central. I tell way too much.
Way too much.
Way too much. So we'll answer your questions, your ideas, talk about what we got going on behind the scenes to try and grow this thing, all that. You could also become a coup de commander. A coup de commander at $20 a month gets you a little bit more, including a call from Ty and I when we're in the field, and the annual option, coup de cavalry, $147 a year, which saves you $93 on the $20 level. We now have 12 annual members and way more on the monthly. So why should you do this? Why should you become a Status Coup member? Well, I have some thoughts on that. First of all, you know, there's a lot of outlets out there asking for membership. Corporate sites, independent networks, and really what you're getting for that membership is a lot of Russia, is a lot of Trump's tweets, is a lot of who's up, who's down, and sensationalism. But you don't get a lot of research.
Right.
You don't get a lot of stories that you haven't heard anywhere else. And you don't get in-the-field reporting with 9 out of 10 of those.
I think, yeah, the in-the-field reporting is tops.
Tops. Thank you, Rose Munro, with the €5, I believe. Watching from Scotland. Used to watch TYT. Amazing how they've changed, and not in a good way. Only guy keeping it real are you and Jimmy Dore. Well, thank you for the kind comment and the €5, I believe that is.
Jimmy's the best.
Jimmy is the best. I actually just reached out to him today, so stay tuned.
Love Jimmy.
So I hope you'll all consider, if you're not a member, as low as... Think about, what do you spend $5 on a month? Excuse me, what do you spend $5 on a day? What do you spend
Coffee. Instead of spending money with Howard Schultz,
yes,
spend money with Status Coup.
What do you spend $10 on a week? What do you spend $20 on a month? Oh, pounds. I always get pounds and euros screwed up. Thank you for the pounds. So we are really, we'd rather beg you, the audience, to support us and become part of the media revolution than ever take a meeting with the likes of Howard Schultz and his plutocrat oligarchy ilk.
And guys, you guys keep bringing up Biden. I have a lot of things to say about Biden.
Yes.
Hopefully he will not run.
Okay.
I'm from Delaware.
So that's our plug for membership. Again, statuscoup.com/join. We're going to start doing more promotions to try and build up our membership. You want to become a member elsewhere and get Russia, Trump till you're blue in the face? Be my guest. You want to see us in the field? Ty and I are talking about going to Ohio and Detroit next to cover the General Motors layoffs. We actually also are interested in possibly going to Wisconsin now that the great con of the Trump administration, Foxconn, has been shown to be a total con. Is Status Coup the new home of progressives?
Well,
no. Well, what should I say about that? I think that's a very... I'll leave it at, I think that's a very interesting slogan. I think that's a very interesting slogan for them.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, moving on. So, Kamala Harris isn't the only one.
Thank you, Luanda.
Kamala Harris isn't the only one acting out. Howard Schultz,
God.
who, I'm not going to lie, I like a good caramel frappuccino back in the day. I haven't had Starbucks in a bit. But, wow, Howard Schultz is really becoming a crappuccino. He has a savior complex. He thinks he's going to run for president and save the country. He thinks America is talking to him and there's such a demand for a Republican pretending to be an independent. Let's hear what he said about a proposed wealth tax.
That should give you some idea as to what I would do.
Elizabeth Warren's proposal is a wealth tax.
Oh, God.
It's an additional 2% tax on Americans whose net worth.
Let's see that again.
Elizabeth Warren's proposal is a wealth tax.
Oh, God.
It's an additional 2% tax on Americans whose net worth. This isn't just an income tax,
I know.
It's an asset tax.
Yeah. What do you think of that?
Is over $50 million.
Yeah.
Good idea?
Well, first of all, it's an idea that has no merit. She knows that there's no way this could come to pass. These are just false campaign promises to make noise. And again, it's punitive. No, I don't agree with that.
By the way, Elizabeth Warren is now fundraising off of...
You know what that sounded like to me? She knows that this could never come to pass. You know what that sounds like to me? You remember when Hillary Clinton said, Medicare for all will never, ever, ever come to pass? Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like a calmer version of Hillary Clinton screaming, Medicare for all will never come to pass. Let me tell you something. That response from him, where he just said, ugh.
Right. That tells you everything.
That could be the national anthem for the billionaires.
Yeah.
That response, that will go down in infamy like Howard Dean's like, you know, like, at least we're seeing the oligarchy just straight from their faith, the greed, the entitlement, the arrogance, the tone deafness just foaming out of their mouths. And of course, you know, you have established candidates, actual candidates who have announced. Elizabeth Warren, Tulsi Gabbard. Oh my God, could they get a quarter of the coverage? A quarter of the coverage that CNN have gotten? CNN has given to Howard Schultz in the last 2 days? CNN and the corporate media overall have been screaming and loving Howard Schultz for the last 2 days. It's pathetic. He's on CBS. He's on CNN. He's on Morning Joe. Let's see what he had to say on Morning Joe this morning.
Rapid fire, I have 3 questions, just random. What qualifies you to be President of the United States?
What qualifies me to be President of the United States is my life experience. People are going to think it's my Starbucks experience. It's what I've learned along the way. It's sharing success. It's recognizing that every business decision is not an economic one. And it's an understanding, a real understanding, that somebody has to restore the promise of America. And what qualifies me is that I will be a leader of the country, of all American people, that people will trust and admire because I will understand. I have walked in their shoes. I'm on both sides of the equation. I'm somebody who is successful. I'm somebody who came from the projects, and I understand the American people.
Who was the best Republican president in the past 50 years? Best Dem.
I have great respect for Ronald Reagan. Just came from the Ronald Reagan Library. The thing that I took away from Ronald Reagan, aside from all of the wonderful things he did, that really struck me, especially compared to the current person who is despicable in the Oval Office, Ronald Reagan never took his jacket off in the Oval Office in 8 years. Why? Because of his respect and the dignity of the office. That needs to be restored.
Yeah, that's the
Democrat, FDR.
How much does an 18-ounce box of Cheerios cost?
An 18-ounce box of Cheerios? I don't need. Now here's the deal. I don't need Cheerios.
Here's the deal. You ask us. You know, like budgets for the VA. We're going to ask you questions about
Ask me anything you want. I don't need Cheerios. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's $4.
Is it $4?
Yeah,
it's a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, good thing I only eat.
But can I ask you a question? Do the 4 of you think that there should be a government takeover of the healthcare system?
Well, so listen. Okay, good. I'm glad you asked the question, so I can ask you the question back.
Yeah.
Because, and I was talking Elizabeth Miller earlier this morning. Everybody always makes a mistake that Kamala Harris made, which is, you go out, you talk about how you're going to save healthcare. If it fits on a bumper sticker, you're going to have a long, rocky ride.
Oh, God. A government takeover of the health insurance industry. I don't know if this guy researched FDR,
You're right, because that's
he mentioned FDR as the best Democratic president.
But it's way too long ago. It was wrong.
Right, but FDR instituted a government takeover of quite a few things. You got Social Security, you got Medicare, the VA, a lot of other New Deal programs were kind of like a government takeover. And the other thing that really, let's just boil it down. What makes this man qualified? He came up with a formula to charge a lot of money to add like nice foam on top of burnt coffee. This is what this man did. He came up with a formula to charge $5 and something cents for some little foam, add in some caramel, maybe a little sprinkles on top of burnt coffee, and call it, a frappuccino or a latte or whatever. This is his experience. I don't know what projects he came from either. I'd have to look that up. But he made coffee milkshakes. That's true, DJ. What's really remarkable to me about this is really between Michael Bloomberg, Howard Schultz, and frankly, I would put Joe Biden's a very wealthy man. So when he announces, I'd put him in with them to a lesser degree. All of these people are telling you what the American people want and what's American and what's un-American. And of course, CNN and none of them are actually pushing back on this. But every single poll goes against what they're saying. 70% of Americans want Medicare for all. So what is Howard Schultz saying? It's un-American. Then you're calling 70% of America un-American?
Right.
Same thing, for free college tuition, which, by the way, Kamala Harris just moonwalked away from, as I covered yesterday. Un-American? And by the way, what exactly is you're against government health? You're against government takeovers of the health insurance industry, but you're not against government takeovers of Texas, where the government basically gives tax giveaways to corporations like yours and plutocrats like you. So if the government gets, and forget the word takeover, that's just to scare people. But if the government takes action and is proactive on healthcare, because that's really what it is. It's not a takeover, but it's government being more aggressive and taking action on healthcare. That's bad. But if the government takes action to give tax breaks, to give deregulation to Starbucks and other places, well, that's just helping, the economy, and that's just part of America.
Right. I don't have anything to add to that.
So I'm just brilliant?
You're totally brilliant.
Fantastic. Dude, his coffee is overpriced crap. That's why I go to Dunkin' Donuts, Paul. But I do like caramel frappuccinos. I'm not going to lie to you. I do like caramel frappuccinos. I don't get it a lot. Now I can't get it because I found out I'm lactose intolerant, which has really shaken my life. It's really shaken my life. I drink gas station coffee, Victoria Lawless. So does a lot of people. When I'm on the road with Ty, that's usually what we do. So, and by the way, what's so interesting, Afi James, you're talking about how about we fix the national debt first. So this guy is railing about the debt, right? So his other idol, Saint Holy Ronald Reagan, who's apparently the main problem with this country is that Trump's taking his jacket off. Trump's taking his jacket off in the Oval Office. Okay, that's the main problem. But what's interesting is Reagan tripled the debt. He tripled the debt. But Reagan is his idol on the Republican side, and FDR, who instituted government takeovers of a lot of things, that's his idol. So basically, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He has a grandiose kind of delusions of grandeur, just like Michael Bloomberg. When you get that rich, you are totally out of touch with what average people are dealing with. I wouldn't have asked him how much. I wouldn't have asked him, what's the price of Cheerios? I would have asked him, hey, have you ever had to choose between medicine or groceries this month? Have you ever had to choose between paying for your electric or getting groceries this month? What economic policy do you have to stem the income inequality? What's he going to say? Tax cuts? We've heard this all before. And what's more telling to me is not what Howard Schultz is saying. It's the fact that CNN, CBS, the New York Times, Morning Joe, all these people, they're falling all over themselves to interview Howard Schultz.
Right.
Tulsi Gabbard can't get anywhere. she's been on CNN since she's announced, as far as I know. So Tulsi Gabbard saying, hey, we need to stop going to war with every other country. We need to stop regime change in places like Venezuela. She's in the witness protection program. She can't get any coverage, although I would love to have her on. Same thing, to a lesser degree. It's not like Elizabeth Warren. They're not covering her 24/7. I don't like her as much as I like Tulsi Gabbard. So if you're for centrist ideas, if you're for keeping the status quo, they'll give you your own wing in NBC. They'll give you your own suite to sleep in so you can keep coming on with them. So very, very disappointing. And we'll keep following. I don't actually think Howard Schultz is going to run, to be honest with you. I think this is a vanity project for himself, maybe to sell some books, maybe to do some other things after. I would find it very hard to believe he's actually going to run for president. But if he does run for president, I'm not as worried, honestly, about him electing Trump. I'm more worried about Howard Schultz running as an independent. Let's say if Bernie wins the nomination as a Democrat, and you got Howard Schultz running as an independent, I think that would hurt Bernie Sanders more than it would hurt Donald Trump.
Absolutely. It would.
So that is problematic.
I think any of these independents would hurt the Democrat more.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see. We shall see. And lastly tonight, Green New Deal 420. Couldn't agree more. And let me see where we're at right now. Okay, we're still at, all right, $40,001. Let me put the GoFundMe link one more time. Always nice to operate this. Hey, I've reached out to Nina Turner too. All I could do is reach out to the folks. I can't make them say yes. Hey, Antonio, hey, Jordan and Jen, do you know if there's anything about animal agriculture in the Green New Deal? Not that I saw. I did not see anything about animal agriculture in the Green New Deal, but I haven't read it like very, very closely, so I could look through that. Always email Jordan at protonmail.com if you have an idea or want to see something covered. So, lastly, we're talking about Kamala Harris moonwalking. We're talking about Howard Schultz being a big crappuccino. Donald Trump, everyman Donald Trump, who was talking about, when he became president, was talking about the forgotten man of America. And, he's going to bring back all these, you're going to be so tired of winning, your head will spin. Will you invite David Pakman on? Not my cup of tea, David Pakman, but if he wants to come on, I'll interview him. I don't care. Get Richard Wolff on. I've already interviewed him, but I could interview him again. Jordan and Jen, have you reached out to Andrew Yang? Jesus Christ, you just sent me an email yesterday. No, I haven't reached out to Andrew Yang yet. Somebody just sent me an email yesterday about Andrew Yang.
I don't know who that is.
So I'm going to reach out to him, but I haven't had a chance. Chapo, I would love to get on Chapo Trap House or have them on. Love Chapo Trap House. What?
You've never listened to it?
I have too listened to Chapo Trap House. They had a great, great episode just demolishing Pod Save America and those tools at Pod Save America, those progressives. Max Blumenthal, that's a good idea too.
Yeah.
So,
yes, I am very fascinated by Max Blumenthal. Like, how do you come from his father and end up like him?
Yeah. So, get on Max. Oh, yeah, I don't want to get on him, but I'll try to get him on. So, Donald Trump, who promised the stars, the sun, everything for America's forgotten men and women, especially in the Rust Belt, he was very, very supportive of this Foxconn deal in Wisconsin. And Foxconn is basically, it's a Taiwanese company that Scott Walker, the now disgraced former, well, he was always disgraced, the former Wisconsin governor, thank God he's gone. He gave away the farm to Foxconn to get him to Wisconsin. Huge tax breaks, subsidies, all the corporate welfare goodies you could imagine to get Foxconn to open up a manufacturing plant in Wisconsin that was supposed to create tens of thousands of jobs, I believe. And it was supposed to be to create LCD panels for TVs. Well, apparently that's not going to happen. Apparently that's done. So, Foxconn Technology Group is reconsidering plans to make advanced liquid crystal display panels at a $10 billion Wisconsin campus, and said it intends to hire mostly engineers and researchers rather than the manufacturing workforce the project originally promised. Oh, when does it end? The corporate giveaways. Announced at a White House ceremony in 2017, the 20 million square foot campus marked the largest greenfield investment by a foreign-based company in U.S. history and was praised by President Donald Trump as proof of his ability to revive American manufacturing. This was very controversial in Wisconsin. The majority of the worker bees, particularly progressives, were not happy about basically Foxconn. Not only were they not going to have to pay taxes, they were almost going to get rebates and money on top of paying no taxes to come there. Foxconn, which received controversial state and local incentives for the project, initially planned to manufacture advanced large screen displays for TVs and other consumer and professional products at the facility, which is under construction. Later said it would build smaller LCD screens instead. Now those plans may be scaled back or even shelved. Luis Wu, special assistant to Foxconn Chief Executive Terry Gao, told Reuters. He said the company was still evaluating options for Wisconsin, but cited the steep cost of making advanced TV screens in the U.S., where labor expenses are comparatively high. Quote, "In terms of TV, we have no place in the U.S., he said in an interview. We can't compete. Translated, they can compete, they just can't pay unseemly amounts of money to their shareholders. They can compete, they can make money, just like GM could make money in the United States, just like Apple could make money in the United States, just like Walmart could make money in the United States. I could go on and on and on. It's the greed. It's not enough money for these fuckers. Excuse my French, Jen. When it comes to manufacturing advanced screens for TVs, he added, if a certain size of a display has more supply, whether from China or Japan or Taiwan, we have to change too. When he says supply, that means slave labor. That's what he's talking about. But, you know, supply is a little bit more of a, you know, diplomatic term for, you know, little boys making 10 cents an hour. God. I'm keeping it real. Rather than a focus on LCD manufacturing, Foxconn wants to create a technology hub in Wisconsin. Oh, a hub. We've heard this talk before. A hub, an innovation hub in Wisconsin that would largely consist of research facilities along with packaging and assembly operations. It would also produce specialized tech products for industrial, healthcare, and professional applications, he added. In Wisconsin, we're not building a factory. You can't use a factory to view our Wisconsin investment. Earlier this month, Foxconn, a major supplier to Apple, reiterated its intention to create 13,000 jobs in Wisconsin, but it had slowed its pace of hiring. The company initially said it expected to employ about 5,200 people. By the end of 2020, a company said that figure now looks like it'll be closer to 1,000. Jeez. It is unclear when the full 13,000 workers will be hired. Probably when we're all dead.
Yes.
Probably when we're all dead. But Wu, in the interview, said about 3/4 of Foxconn's eventual jobs will be in research and development and design, what he described as knowledge positions, rather than blue-collar manufacturing jobs. Foxconn is formerly known as Han-Hai Precision Industry. I don't have to read anymore. This is that old record spinning, just a different day. Same song, different day. Let me tell you something, folks. Let me tell you something. They are not going to hire 13,000 people, manufacturing people, or, you know, more advanced professionals. This is a fleecing of the people of Wisconsin. Now, if you follow modern monetary theory, which I've been coming around to, it's not exactly the taxpayers who are, well, it is actually on the state level, it is the taxpayers who are paying for this. Because on the federal level, when it comes to MMT, the government does print money and the government has all the money to pay for these things. But on the state level, when you are sacrificing millions and millions of dollars in tax revenue to basically roll out the red carpet for Foxconn to come to Wisconsin, well, you got to find that money somewhere. So what do? You cut subsidies for heating for old people. You cut subsidies for nutrition programs for poor children. You cut subsidies for farmers. You cut subsidies and tax credits and services for the working class of America, which Scott Walker, as governor of Wisconsin, who was a Koch brother robot, basically. Remember, Scott Walker was heavily funded by the Koch brothers. Basically, Donald Trump and Scott Walker just gave basically a tax-free giveaway to a Taiwanese company to come to Wisconsin for the expressed promise of 13,000 jobs to manufacture LCD TVs or glass or whatever it is for Apple products and TVs and all this stuff. And now it's being whittled down to maybe it'll be 1,000 workers by the end of 2020. And those 13,000 workers we promised, yeah, we'll get back to you. Maybe we'll talk to Kamala Harris about that. You got a private position and a public position. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's disgusting.
It is disgusting.
And I'm not just angry for the people of Wisconsin that have been suckered. I am angry because this keeps happening over and over and over again. Let me tell you something. If I promised the audience of Status Quo something, right? Mm-hmm. And I said to them, hey, if you pay X, you're going to get Y.
Right.
Right? And I didn't deliver. But I said, oh, change of plans. What would happen to me? What would happen to us?
We would get in lots and lots of trouble.
Probably lose our audience, probably lose our members, and go out of business.
Yes.
But Foxconn, and by the way, new governor Tony Evers, who beat Scott Walker, he's saying, well, I have to fulfill the promises we made to Foxconn for millions and millions in tax giveaways and subsidies, even though they're now moonwalking away from what they promised, just like Kamala Harris. Yeah. And if I wouldn't get a copyright strike, I'd be playing Michael Jackson moonwalking right now. Paul, I don't insult you. I seek for you to stay and learn from Jordan. I agree, whoever you're talking to. And let's keep it civil in the live chat. We do have more trolls, which means we're growing.
Yeah.
We have a lot more trolls, so I'm excited about that. And I'm trying to talk to the camera and talk to you while monitoring the chat. So if people are saying racist stuff or sexist stuff or nasty stuff, we'll try to spot it as best we can.
We need 100 more of you to like the live stream.
Yes, there's almost 400 people watching, only 286 likes. Smash the like button like it's Scott Walker talking about the strength of unions. Well, no. He talked about how unions are scum and suckering and vulturing from us. Yeah, get rid of him. I got it. We don't take that language here, if I could find it. Why can't I get rid of him?
Yeah.
No, I wanted to block him. So
you did.
So let me tell you something. I think, and you're not going to see this covered on CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times. They don't care. They don't care about the workers being screwed. But this is essentially giving free money to a Taiwanese company to basically con Foxconn, con Wisconsin and con America. And Trump's behind it too. And this is why it is so obvious that Bernie Sanders is the best person to defeat Donald Trump. Because Bernie Sanders is the only person who has the credibility to say, hey, Donald Trump. Hey, President Trump. Hey, racist Donald Trump. Those factories you talked about? You know, I went on a little tour around Wisconsin. I went on a little tour around Indiana. I went on a little tour around Ohio, around Pennsylvania. They're still closed. So are the YMCAs around those factories. So are the storefronts that have been boarded up in these Rust Belt states since the 1980s and 90s. I thought you were bringing back these factories. I thought you were bringing back these towns. So I think Bernie Sanders is the only one who can contrast to Donald Trump. And Bernie Sanders speaks to the discord and the desperation and the economic insecurity of people in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and Ohio and Illinois and Indiana. Yeah, I would have Michael Tracy on. I like Michael Tracy.
And by the way, we're not silencing anyone who is trying to have a conversation. We're getting rid of people who are very, very offensive.
Yeah, no, if you drop the N-word in here, you're gone. If you drop anti-Semitism in here, you're gone. If we catch it. I mean, we can't catch everything. But I don't care if we have trolls, but if you're going to be racist, if you're going to be sexist, I've seen comments that are perverted about Kamala Harris. We don't condone that. We're about policy here. We're about what's right, what's wrong, and what will help lift the worker bees and gals out of this misery.
Yes. But
we're not interested in sexism or racism or ageism or anything like that. So toodles, we don't care. But, you know,
We do, Michael. If you guys want to be moderators, email us.
So if only there was an actual populist, progressive candidate out there that could speak to this corporate con job, my book, Corporate Con Job, like Foxconn. If only there was a progressive populist out there that could say, hey, instead of giving subsidies to Foxconn and Walmart and Goldman Sachs and Apple and all these people who are not good corporate citizens, who are strangling the proletariat, who are stomping on the worker bee, who are the reason we have such incessant, horrific income inequality, we're going to actually put some regulations on them. How about that?
Yep.
This is why we need Bernie Sanders to run. This is why he needs to be in the debate. I'd like to hear this populist talk from Tulsi Gabbard. I do like that she offers a lot more of the foreign policy, but I want to hear more domestically from her that she is going to speak to this. Because Foxconn is just one. It's not just Foxconn. There's a Foxconn in Indiana. Not literally, but there's companies like Foxconn that are getting huge giveaways in Indiana. Remember the carrier plant that Donald Trump, quote unquote, saved? That they gave big giveaways to save that plant in Indiana, but then they just went to Mexico anyway. I mean, these corporations get away with murder. Why? Because they buy off Donald Trump. They buy off Nancy Pelosi. They buy off Chuck Schumer. They buy off Tom Perez. They buy off Kirsten Gillibrand, Cory Booker, Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris. It's a shame. Julie, socialism does not work. Disagree. I disagree, Julie. Carl, I will preach.
And someone said that Tulsi's going to turn this country into Venezuela.
Oh, this talking point about Venezuela. It's ridiculous.
So overdone.
By the way, what's
true.
so interesting about this propaganda against Venezuela, so don't get me wrong, the Maduro government, the Bolivian revolution has made mistakes economically. I don't pretend to be an expert. If you want expertise, I would go check out Abby Barton on this, Ben Norton, Jimmy's done some good stuff. But the interesting thing is, how can you say, oh, it's them screwing the economy, when the United States has devastatingly crippling sanctions on Venezuela that has made, how can they even do anything on the economy to help the economy recover there when the United States is preventing international loans? You can't get international loans if you're at a business in Venezuela right now. They're having trouble getting food and medicine into Venezuela because of these sanctions. So it's like watching it's like saying the guy who burnt down your house, that's the one who can help the situation. No, he burnt down your house. I don't think the United States is 100% responsible for Venezuela's economic situation. There's a lot of factors. But is the United States making it impossible for the Maduro government to take steps to improve the situation? Yes. And by the way, if you follow Max Blumenthal, I didn't read it, but he just wrote a piece. This Juan Guaido, the opposition leader that the United States is so in love with and Trump is throwing, he's suddenly president, so democratic, right? That would be like, Nancy Pelosi just declaring herself president, which is scary, to tell you the truth. This has been in the works, the manufacturing or the making of Guaido as president of Venezuela for a long time. But, this is a talking point. It's a right-wing talking point. Oh, look at Venezuela. Look at Venezuela. Look at the United States. We have the worst income inequality we are number 4. We are ranked number 4 out of 140 countries in terms of income inequality. We have insane poverty levels now. Underemployment, and the real, as Ralph Nader, as well as economist Richard Wolff tell me, the real unemployment rate is closer to 7.58% when you factor in people not looking for work. Not what the government bureau sends out there.
Cheryl, I am the queen of getting things from thrift stores. So look for the stroller in the thrift store.
Jen, how is Jordan's cooking? What? I don't cook.
He doesn't cook.
I don't cook. My father cooks well, though. So that's the deal. Actually, I was talking to Ty. If you are from Wisconsin or you know people from Wisconsin affected by this, you know people that fought this Foxconn deal, email Jordan at protonmail.com. That's email Jordan at protonmail.com, because we're interested in possibly going to Wisconsin as well to cover this. So email Jordan at protonmail.com. And before we go, folks, one more push.
No, Victoria, I put the crockpot dinner together.
One more push. Consider becoming a member of Status Coup. This is how we're going to get in the field. This is how we're going to cover stories that no one else covers. The Foxconn story, General Motor layoffs. We want to cover the water problem in Detroit. They just shut off at the end of last year all the water fountains in public schools in Detroit, as Jen laughs at the poor kids in Detroit.
I'm laughing at learned to
So this, statuscoup.com/join. Becoming a member is how we're going to grow. $5 a month, $10 a month, $20 a month, or $147 a year. The faster we grow this, not only will we be able to get in the field, we'll be able to be more attractive for sponsorship deals with progressive individuals and companies. Larger funding, not from George Soros, not from plutocrats that fund the Democratic or Republican Party, but people who are aligned with our values.
Right.
We are looking towards 2020. We do need more funding for that. So hopefully, if you have it in your budget, if you don't have it in your budget, we totally understand. But if you do, become a member, statuscoup.com/join, and our GoFundMe is...
Our Watson, take a chill pill.
...is still open for business. We just passed 41,000. Thank you very much. Jen, any farewell words for the audience?
No, just know how much your contributions help at our GoFundMe and at our website, even $5 a month or whatever. Yeah, and we just rely on you guys. Email us if you want to help moderate.
Email Jordan at protonmail.com. Peace out.